I didn't have an education. You know, I dropped out at ninth grade. I have not been to school for almost 34 years. I have not been in a school. So from age 16, every application that I filled out, I had been lying. That checkbox that says, do you have a GED? When you check yes and you don't have one, that is a lie. I work for the second largest bank in the world. All I had to do was literally show up, do the job. I mean, it had all of the fringe benefits. It's a pretty high banking job. All of the jobs that I priorly had in my career were working in banking institutions. The problem came into, once I picked up that first drink again. That's where the problem came in at. Slowly and surely, where it was no longer just a few drinks after work. It started becoming where it was, okay, I'm going to stop at 3 drinks. I'm going to have, okay, I'll stop at 6. Then it got to the point where it wasn't 6. There was no limit. Then it got to the point to where it was a blackout. Next thing you know, I'm coming to, and it's already 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then it got to the point to whereas I would miss an entire days, and I was calling in. I used up all of my absent time within a very short period of time. And it got to the point to whereas I couldn't call into work. The shame was too great. The pain was too great. I had no more excuses. And I definitely did not want to tell them I had a drinking problem. No one wanted to have anything to do with me at that point. The apartment that I finally got, I lost that. Which was the last place, which is why I became homeless at that time. It was in January that the eviction notice was put out. Temperature was below freezing, probably about minus 19 degrees. I curled up only with my coat and my scarf that I was still fortunate to have. During the day it was pretty much trying to find some way to get food during the day, to get some type of nourishment, try to get some way of cleaning up. I would go to some of the coffee shops. I would go in, then I would go into their bathroom, wash up the best that I could, slick my hair back. I would go out and sit around, grab a newspaper that generally is in their newspaper bin, and sit casually and look like I was one of the normal people that were there. I didn't want anyone to know how bad it was. When I was able to go back into the apartment on the last day to get my belongings, and as a pile of clothes that I'm sitting in the middle of on the floor trying to separate which ones I was going to take with me. And as I'm looking around the apartment, it finally dawns on me. Something at this moment literally hit me. That it finally registered and resonated inside of me. It impacted me right at this moment that I'm going to be homeless. I am homeless. And at that point, I literally started crying. Tears started coming down my face. And at this moment, I'm looking up and I'm realizing the devastation of what I had done to my life, what had happened, who's no longer involved in my life, my son, the job, the apartment. How could I possibly have allowed this thing to hit me and to do this all over again to my life? And I literally screamed, help, probably to the top of my voice. I don't even know if any neighbor heard me screaming out, but I really said, help me, God, help me. I don't know if it was because of the cry, what it was at this moment, but something happened. I'm pulling down a pair of pants that I had not worn for almost 2 years. There's the first, a phone drops out of the back pocket of these pair of pants, and inside there was a voice that said, turn it on. So I turned the phone on, and the first phone number that was on there was my very first sponsor that I got when I was here, when I got to Minnesota. So I run downstairs and I knock on a neighbor's door, and I asked the neighbor if I could use his phone and if I can call him. And I called him up. I dialed his number and I called him, and he picked up the phone. He answered, and I said, "This is Damien," and I told him what was going on. He said, "If you could stay the night where you are, I will come and get you in the morning. Do you know about Christ Recovery Center? I'm gonna come and get you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. He took me down to Union Gospel Mission, And to see when I walked in to the place with him, there was nothing but smiling faces and people telling me, hey, how you doing? And they were introducing themselves, and they had smiles on their face, and there were all these photographs that were on the wall, and all these people seemed so happy, and I just couldn't figure out why. That night they fixed dinner, and it was the first meal that I had with 11 different new guys that all welcomed me with love, and they all gave me hugs, and these brothers welcomed me with open arms. And one thing one of them said is, "Welcome home," and it blew me away. I'm right now at the age of March 26th of this year, I'll turn 50 years old. And for the first time in my life, I will be able to honestly be able to say I have my GED for the first time. They're walking me through. I have 2 more tests to take, which is the science test and the math test. And that is because of what this place is providing. So when I get this diploma of the GED today, that is now turning the tide of the old person to the new person, to walking into truth and no longer walking in lie. It's about character today. The Union Gospel Mission is teaching me how, taking the tools that I'll be able to take back to learn how to be a friend, to be a mentor to my son, to be a father to my son, to be a friend to my sons. I have absolutely nothing today except what the mission has provided me. And I mean, like, financially wise, I don't have like the car or the job, or I don't have a bank account. I don't have all of these clothes. I don't have any of what the world calls, I don't have anything of ownership, but I have absolutely everything that God is providing me that I need to sustain me. Union Gospel Mission, God led me to Union Gospel Mission. Union Gospel Mission led me to God.